What's going on, Conscious Crew? It is your host, Conscious TV, coming to you guys on this amazing hump day. If you are just clicking into the stream, honey, I want you guys to definitely give me a old nasty thumbs up on this video, honey. If you are new here, definitely hit that subscribe button, okay? And I need everybody to make sure that their notification bell is certainly clicked to always, even though YouTube serves the fucking devil and doesn't do its job. We still want to keep our foot on them whores' necks, okay? I hope you guys are having a wonderful week, okay? I have been busy, busy, busy. I have a lot of things going on, honey. If you're not in the Patreon, you don't know everything that's going on, but I have things going on outside of YouTube, honey, that I'm gearing up for, honey. I might be coming to some web series near you, but another story for another day, okay? I want to definitely also thank all of my contributors and donators. I love you guys so much. I just love you guys so much. You guys are freaking awesome. Okay. So I want to come to you guys and have just a quick little conversation. I'm gonna try not to keep you guys here too long because my Wi-Fi has been acting like a bitch with a very heavy period. I'm about like 30 seconds away from definitely breaching spectrum. Okay. Breaching is my new word for 2021. We're going to be breaching, honey. Okay? I'm going to be breaching motherfucking Spectrum because they are getting on my everlasting nerve and their Wi-Fi is literally so crappy. I don't know anybody, like, if you're in the Carolinas regions, honey, like, then you probably know who the hell I'm talking about as a Wi-Fi and cable contributor. Ratchet as hell. And I pay too much coin for the service for it to be as unreliable as it is. So I've been having to like hotspot it and all. It's just too much. Nonetheless, before we get directly into this conversation, I want to also kind of just like kind of talk about some things first before we get to the title. Okay, you guys see the title says, should recovering racists be forgiven and accepted once a racist, always a racist? Okay, we're going to talk about it a little bit. We're going to talk about it. But before we talk about it, let me just kind of talk to you guys. First of all, what's going on stream? Hey, Miss Old School, Happy New Year, boo-boo. This is my mod, honey, one of my long-term mods, my captain mod, okay? Miss Old School has literally been here from dusk till motherfucking dawn. Like, shout out and God bless you. D-Rock, what's going on? What's going on, my double A? I live for my double A. What's going on? What's going on, Mandy? Bongani. Did I pronounce that right? Bongani. I like that name. What's going on, Purple Lover? My Pocahontas, honey. Okay. Classy Queen. Oh my goodness. I'm about to fan out. All of my favorite people are here tonight. What's going on, Classy? I hope you guys are doing so well. I am just turned. Okay, so let me. What's going on, Hayes Way? What's going on? So I see you guys are rolling in. YouTube is probably still sending out notifications. So just welcome everyone to the stream. I want to open up this conversation first because I think what's been going on in my personal life, it kind of motivated and inspired this topic tonight. I've been having a great week. Like, well, actually, it's been a great new year for me personally. Like, just personally. I'm really big on New Year's. I'm really big on like starting fresh and just like starting strong. And so this year has been really good on a personal level. I know that collectively, of course, the world is upside down, but the world gonna be upside down for the next 200 plus years. So you guys might as well just get used to that. However, yesterday, right, after kind of having like, a crazy week dealing with the Capitol, then I gave you guys like a 3 hour long show, with my compadre Christian and my compadre Corey, the token white guy. He got up here, and did his thing. We had a great dialogue. And that was wonderful. But then, like, what I've gotten into the practice of as an empath, and I've started a whole empath series on my Patreon, and I'm so fucking excited about it. Like, literally, I was supposed to start my empath series like a few days ago, but I couldn't because I wanted to do them live. But because I have unreliable Wi-Fi, I haven't been able to do that. So now I'm thinking I'm going to maybe have to do it pre-recorded, even though I really don't. I really want to do my series live on my Patreon, but I want to figure it out. However, as a part of my self-care, what I do is I shift frequencies. So if I start dealing with something like really heavy and getting really knee deep into a particular situation or topic or area of life, whatever that area may be, now I have learned to disconnect and go kind of opposite, right? Because the pendulum swings equally to the left as it does to the right. So, you know, when heavy shit is going on in society, within the culture, somebody took on our wig a little bit too much, you know, I got to go out and just go be happy and forget about what the fuck the condition of the world is in. I have to forget what condition the family is in, what condition, you know, everybody's in, and irregardless of all hell breaking loose, I got to go be happy, okay? Because I ain't good for nobody unless I can be good for myself. So, all of you guys who need some self-care tips, one of those things is you got to give yourself permission to disconnect, right? Hayes way, you got to give up, you know, you got to be balanced, you know, light and darkness, you got to balance that shit out. You can't be too much to the left all the time, and you can't be to the right all the time. You got to learn how to swing through and through and through. So guess what I did yesterday as a result of all the, you know, they try to impeach Trump and all this shit. Look, yesterday, my supporters have blessed me with some coin, honey, and that's why I'm shouting out, honey. And I went and treated myself and did something real nice. I had to buy me another microphone, which I'm really excited about. It's a Bluetooth microphone. It's really fucking nice. I lost my last one, so I went and replaced that. And then I went out shopping, honey. I went on a little nasty piece of shopping spree. Yes, God. And I got me some sickening shit, honey. So sickening, girl. I'm like, this is photo shoot shit. But you know, all my whole wardrobe ain't nothing but photo shoot shit, honey. I don't wear basic ass clothes. The only basics are my pajamas. My everyday clothes look like shit you can wear on music video sets, movie sets, premieres. Like, I dress very glamorous in my daily life. I know the normal people, you know, dress for special occasions, bitch. Every day of the week is a special occasion for me, as far as I'm concerned. So, you know, my wardrobe is like fucking nuts. And I love clothes. I'm a creative, artistic person. So, you know, get into it, honey. And so I went, man, and I had a great day. Like, yesterday was just fucking awesome. Like, the city was just like low in traffic, and I was able to kind of pooch through and pooch around and do my thing and be, you know, introverted and get my shopping on, and found some really great stuff. And I kept seeing a lot of synchronicity, which has been heavy in my life probably over the last several months. I've been seeing a lot of double, triple, quadruple ass digits, 444, 333, 222, 1111, 911. Like, these things have been consistent, but when I am like really flowing in my shit, it's like literally I'm catching double digits and triple digits everywhere I look, whether it's the clock, whether it's the watch, whether it's the time on the cell phone, whether it's me looking at the laptop. Like, when I'm high vibrating, baby, I see them goddamn numbers, and I know that my shit is scaling on a cosmic level, just scaling. So yesterday was really beautiful, right? And so when I woke up this morning, God had downloaded this whole kind of virtue chart into me. What I normally do when God downloads something into me is, well, when I was on Facebook, because I haven't been on Facebook in months, I deactivated my Facebook because I just don't be on there. But what I used to do is I used to use my Facebook as kind of a place for my writings and my quotes. So my posts used to be epically fucking long on Facebook and all that kind of stuff. But now I'm going to be coming out with like a little a little coffee table book. Okay. It's going to be like a reference, and it's going to be really dope. It's going to be filled with just like writings and poetry and like spiritual quotes and shit, like all of my isms and stuff. And it's going to be amazing. People have been telling me that I need to like copyright my shit and put my shit, and get my shit published. So that's what I'm actually working on as well. It's also going to be a picture book. So for every quote, there's going to be some amazing visualistic piece, okay, on the left side of the page, and my writing's going to be to the right. It's going to be really fucking amazing. I mean, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be like a high fashion Bible, bitch. That's what we're going for, okay? So that brings me to my community feed. I don't know why I woke up with this in my spirit, but I just did. Like, it was in me, and I said, you know what? I'm going to give it away to the world, because that's the only reason God puts anything inside of you, is for you to give it away. You know, God speaks through vessels, through prophets, whatever you want to call them. When the divine channels something through you, and you can't see where maybe it personally speaks to you, that's because it's for everybody else, okay? Kind of like when you go to church and the word wasn't for you, but the word was for somebody on that Sunday, okay? And so I'm going to read this here, and then we're going to move into the topic, okay? So I woke up this morning after a great day yesterday, and then I woke up and I had virtue in my heart. And I wrote in my community feed 10 hours ago, forgiveness is the act of releasing the shame, the blame, the guilt, and the sadness. Compassion is the act of empathizing with the lower self and or the misfortune that manifests in the lives of all humans, regardless of how or what it individually manifests as. Faith is the knowingness of unseen things. Hope is the willingness to believe in a just outcome. Mercy is the act of freeing a guilty person as a result of forgiving and being compassionate simultaneously. Kindness is the expression of decency and respect to all others. Joy is the radiance of wholeness and completeness. Truth is what you feel compelled to believe about the facts. And love is the inner space that makes any one or all of these virtues possible to execute at any given moment. And the God in me touches and agrees with that. Okay? With that being said, bitch, can we forgive white folk? Should racist ass, goat fucking, hillbilly any ass, masturbating ass racists be forgiven? Should they be forgiven? What's going on, Heidi Snowflake Fly? Thank you, honey. You guys go and subscribe to Heidi Snowflake Fly, honey. Bad bitch, honey. Amazing content creator girl. She will get it stirred up, honey. So you guys go and subscribe to Heidi. And so Heidi is already saying, hell no. So let's talk about it. Because I want to talk about it, you know. My thing is this, right? Because I was really thinking about this, you know, everything that we've been going through over the past 8 years, with police brutality and this kind of resurgence of racism in the world has brought us face to face, you know, with this bastard ass spirit again. And I was like, you know, it's going to be interesting when that time comes. I don't think that this is the time, and that Black minorities are even in a position, okay, to even contemplate such a thing. You know, we're still very much so in survival mode, and the system is real heavy. So right now, dismantling it is first priority. Okay, we can, you know, we can forgive the good white folk of the world later on. You know, that's the attitude, and it makes sense. You know, if we want to go in chronological order, fine, whatever. However, I was also in here thinking like, well, when that day comes, when we've dismantled white supremacy, when we've dismantled racism, when the nation and the world is a bit more on its utopia, Michael Jackson, we are the world, we are the children type shit. Like when that's become the living reality that we're all existing within, and we have to kind of, Black minorities have to kind of come to this fork in the road morally, ethically, philosophically, when it comes to emotionally how we're going to approach our oppressors or the descendants of our oppressors or those who who were once our oppressors who now may be enlightened. Okay, and I'm going to bring this picture into the equation. Let me hold on, give me 1 second, you guys. Let me get this together here. Living my life like it's golden. Okay. See, these good white people here who, may have never been racist. These might have been the whites who, quote unquote, never saw color. They only, as Dr. Martin Luther King said, they only judged people by the merit of their character. What I think is funny or interesting too is how we as Black people, we hate that saying. Like, we hate when white people say it, like, oh, I don't see color. But it's interesting that one of our biggest civil rights leaders, Dr. King himself, also echoed the same sentiments that, he himself in his I Have a Dream speech echoed that sentiment that one day, little black boys and little white boys and little black girls and little white girls could coexist and love each other, and that, as a nation, as a people, that, we should, be judged by the merit of our character and not by the color of our skin. And just as there's been Black people who have never seen color, maybe because, bitch, we didn't really have to, there was really no reason for us to really see fucking color. We didn't create racism, so why would we be seeing color per se? But there's also been white people who, for their own reasons, maybe just because they've just been decent enough to fucking treat people right, irregardless. People can be decent. People are decent people. People are not. And see, this is where our conversation is going to get really interesting. But we're going to travel through, hun. I ain't even planning to go down some of these roads that my brain trying to go down. So if I get a little like wobbly, just ride with me, honey. We just going to drive down the street, okay? And I know why we hate it, okay? I know why we hate it, because we look at those white people, because most times when white people say they don't see color, it's usually used to deny systematic racism. It's usually used to deny the actual systematic oppressive system that Black people are trying to get white people to acknowledge. And a lot of times white people's response is, I don't see color. Da, 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 da. And sometimes Black people don't even be knowing that they be trying to get white people to address systematic racism. So sometimes the way we even engage white people is not by way of articulating, how systemic racism actually impacts Black minorities. So it feels like we're more so in a personal exchange, but bitch, no, I'm not talking about you as a white person personally. And even if you weren't racist, that doesn't mean that there isn't systematic oppression. That does not mean that there aren't discriminatory practices that marginalize Black minorities in terms of per capita, in terms of, oh, I'm getting cash out, baby, in terms of our economic, in terms of us socially, okay? Because those things And that data is objective in there, irregardless of you as an individual white person not personally seeing color and thinking that we all should just kumbaya and motherfucking butterfly. Okay, that's perfectly fine. But before we get there, let's just back up a little bit. What really made me think about, because it's this president as well. Like, there's literally newspaper articles from the 70s and the 80s where Joe Biden is talking about not wanting his kids to live in a race jungle, okay? Where let me just pull it up, okay? Just give me 1 second. You guys carry away in the stream amongst y'all selves. Let me see if I can pull up this article real quick, or this newspaper headline. Joe Biden race jungle. Because this is really, this was the head, or this was the real catalyst, okay, for my, oh, here it is. Booyah! Let me share this too for my conversation today. Let me, new tab. All this technology, honey, and I am using her. Oh, that's so small. I need a bigger one. Let me see if I can, hold on, you guys. Give me a minute. Let me enlarge this, because I really want to get into this. I really, really, really do. I just think it's so fascinating, honey. Oop! I made that too big, honey. Okay, you know, maybe I just need to cancel her altogether, honey. Let me see. Let me see. No. No, 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 no. I'm coming, you guys. I'm trying to get an image large enough. Okay, I think this one is going to work right here. Yes, God. See how the Holy Ghost, see how the Holy of Ghostess is, honey? Be with the kid. See how the Holy Ghost just worked that thing right on out. I don't know who just cashed at me, but I'm going to shout you out very soon, sugar. Let me pull up this other screen here, because this is really why. I hope this ain't no porn. Okay, you know, because I've been having all type of freaky shit on my laptop, y'all. Okay, so you guys see this right here, 1997. This is on the front page of something in 1997. I mean 1977. Biden said integrating Black students would turn schools into a jungle, a racial jungle. Okay, Joe is quoted here saying, "I don't want my children to grow up in a jungle, a racial jungle." Okay, now Joe, everybody knows or should be well aware right now, has a very sketchy past. Okay, Joe has stood for some things, said some things that you know, that at best definitely put him in maybe the category of a recovering racist. Okay, now I want to read this article by USA Today about this article, okay, because fact checkers caught themselves, I guess, putting this statement into context, and this is my first time seeing this as well, so we're about to hear this together. I'm curious to know what they did. Okay, so let's read USA Today, you guys. I got so much shit pulled up. So the claim Joe Biden said that integrating schools would create a racial jungle and that he did not want his children to grow up in a racial jungle. At the final presidential debate, former Vice President Joe Biden called President Donald Trump one of the most racist presidents we've had in modern history. But Biden himself has come under the fire for past comments about race. In May, a story on the website Team Trump USA, okay, too many pop-ups on this website, claimed that in 1977, Biden said integrating Black students would turn schools into a jungle, a racial jungle. It also contained a photo that showed Biden alongside the purported quote, "I don't want my children to grow up in a jungle, a racial jungle." The author of the article Cohen McClain told USA Today that the photo on the article can be somewhat misleading, but the content in the article isn't misleading. This month alone, a screenshot of that article has been shared almost 250,000 times on Facebook. The user behind that post has not responded to a request from USA Today for a comment. Okay. Now, Biden said without orderly integration, his children would grow up in a jungle, the jungle being a racial jungle. In the 1970s, Biden was a staunch opponent of mandatory busing as a method of school. What is this? I hate all these crazy ass words these articles fucking use. Desegregation. God damn it. There you go. My fucking brain turned off. Busing as a method of school desegregation. His campaign maintains that he did. However, support voluntary busing per the New York Times. His remark about a racial jungle came from a hearing before the Senate Judiciary Committee in 1977 on the subject of court-ordered busing. Okay? Cheryl Gay Stolberg, a reporter for the New York Times, first tweeted about the comments in July 2019. She credited the fine to a law professor, and it was later picked up by outlets like Business Insider. Just before the remark, Biden advocated for orderly integration of society rather than school integration via busing. I am not just talking about education, but all society, he said. Okay, so let's pause right here. Do you guys buy it? What are you guys' thoughts? Do you guys think that based upon what you just heard right there, that Biden statement has been taken out of context? Because basically what USA Today is reporting is that the context for the statement was keyword orderly integration, that maybe the perspective is Joe was stating that, look, if we integrate at a time where obviously racial tensions are high, etc., and we just throw black students into all white spaces, obviously that's going to be crazy as hell, okay, for black students and white students alone, and even the good white students of America would be caught up in the mayhem of racist white students who would want to make an example and be defensive against these black students who were integrating into these spaces, etc. Okay, and if that was the context for the statement, then fine, because that is actually fucking true. Okay, if the keyword and the emphasis here is we need orderly integration, okay, and don't just need to throw black students through this shit and then, you know, like without decency and in order, and keep it into context here that we're doing something fucking new, and that's obviously going to come with major backlash, and that not every student is going to not every white student is going to honor, you know, these black students coming into their spaces. And what is that going to look like, not only for black students, but what the fuck is it going to look like for my fucking children, my white goddamn all-American children who are raised to be decent, who are just going to be caught up in the bullshit that these white fucking racist motherfuckers are going. So I get it, I guess. Let me see if I can find an article. Yes, find it, Bugatti. Okay, that's what I thought, Heidi Snowflake. And he had pics of, yeah. Biden is the devil to me. I voted for him because Trump is Satan himself. Girl. So, with us having a president who, you know, I told you guys before, as far as I'm concerned, I'm not excited personally about Joe or Kamala versus Trump. I feel like we're not even getting the lesser of two evils. I feel like we're just like going from overt wickedness to like covert wickedness. Like I'm not sure that I see a fucking difference in Joe Biden, like in Trump. I just think that Joe Biden is going to make bullshit more easier to digest because I think he's going to come off more pleasant. He's going to be what I would call a wolf in sheep's clothing. See, Trump was just a fucking wolf. And you know, there's an old saying, I'm better with the devil that I know. You know, the devil that's out in the motherfucking open. The devil that is, you know, just blazing glory, red skin, horns protruding, pitchforks out, would much rather prefer a honest enemy versus one that's, you know, wrapped up in some good garbs and some sparkly paper, who's nonetheless still selling the country out, who's still nonetheless selling humanity out, who's nonetheless still selling minorities out, okay? So for me, this presidency means nothing to me. Kamala and Joe don't mean shit to me. To me, you know, as far as I'm concerned, we're not transitioning into a different administration. It's just continual, kind of like how 2021 is an extension of 2020. Everybody was ready for 2020 to be put behind us, okay? But 2020 said, nah, bitch, it ain't no hindsight here, girl, only foresight. So we capped off 2021, okay, with breaching the motherfucking Capitol, and that's kind of like the continuity that's going to exist, okay, with the Biden administration, okay? This is just going to be a continual thing. There's a thread and a theme happening here, okay? Kamala has connections to Mark Zuckerberg. They had a nonprofit together, and it's been said that Zuckerberg will be pulling strings, and of course they will. I'm actually working on some content right now that's going to get into all of that, honey. And I'm not that I'm happy that the Tiffany Dover situation happened, but the Tiffany Dover situation allowed me to kind of like just create the string of content that's all going to like attempt to connect all the motherfucking missing dots. And I'm so fucking excited, but you're hitting it right on the nail, Nicole. Perspective, okay? So I'm not excited about the new administration or any of that. You guys already know how the fuck I feel about government anyway. But since we're going to be having a president who is coming from a very questionable past in terms of his own race relations, in terms of his own you know, philosophy about race, his own attitude toward blacks and the black community, I got to thinking, you know, can we trust recovering racists, or can we trust racists who proclaim to be enlightened? Like, and at this point, I'm not even talking about like the white people who have never been racist or never had any type of a superior attitude toward blacks. I'm talking about literally the whites that definitely were white supremacists, the whites who definitely believed that they were superior to blacks or to any other group at that, but then matured or evolved or who expanded in consciousness, like, because I think that there may be a lot of those. Like, I wonder what would happen if Joel Osteen came out, you know, this white televangelist, and said, you know, he used to be a racist. As a Christian, especially with this being a Christian country and this being the majority of the US population being a demographic of Christians, how do believers approach forgiveness? What if your favorites used to be whole racists? You know, like, what if your favorite white pastor was a part of the KKK and the Ku Klux Klan? You know, what if your favorite pop star, now we're going to have a president who has a crazy past, and what do you do with that? Like, what do you really do with that? Because I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do with it, okay? But before I tell you that, because I'm thinking, we also live in that same, especially black people, because now I'm gonna talk to blacks, my black folk. We have a habit of saying that you can love the sinner and not the sin. That's a term that's often used toward homosexuals. And the black community believes that you can hold an attitude about something without necessarily being prejudiced, which I get, but when you apply, if that can be the same way that racism can work, almost unanimously, most black people agree that it doesn't quite work the same way. And maybe that's where we get into a little bit of a hypocrisy about democracy, because now I'm going to challenge my same black community to really now think about all the other shit, okay, in context of race. Like, there are plenty of recovering homophobes who claim that they also used to be homophobes, who now, because of a gay brother, now because of a gay son, now because of maybe just maturing in life, feel differently. Should we accept that? There are lots of misogynists um, and sexist men who may have participated heavily in misogyny, participated heavily in patriarchy, who've now become enlightened due to women's equality, due to growing intellectually. Should we accept that either? Because if people are creating a space to forgive all these other recovering people, recovering homophobes, recovering transphobes, recovering misogynists, recovering women beater, recovering, etc., would we be able to be just as compassionate? Would we be able to accept Joel? Huh? Would we be able to accept Paula White if she came out? The other white televangelist? Huh? Could we? Could we? Would we? Hmm? What's going on, Captivating Christian? The Gentleman's Panel will be on Rebel Sun's platform tomorrow at 7:45 Eastern Standard Time. You guys make sure to join us there, and definitely check out Cap Hill for all political commentary, okay? Paula White is a shame. Yeah, her and her African angels, So, I'm just curious to know, what will we do with white uh I don't even know what to call them, just recovering racists. Now, let's because there's two definitions, right, for racism. One of those definitions is a belief that race is a fundamental determinant of human traits and capacities, and that racial differences produce an inherent superiority of a particular race. Okay, short way of saying people who have a superior as complex in the context of race. My race is better than yours. My race brings all the boys to the yard. Okay. Then there's a second definition of racism, that is the systematic oppression of a racial group to the social, economic, and political advantage of another. Okay. And so this is where a lot of Black millennials, we tend to use this second definition of racism in order to kind of um, create like a contrast between the difference between prejudice and racism. Like, Black people can't be racist. That doesn't mean, if you're applying the second definition, that Black people can't have a superior attitude, because we have Black supremacists as well. Okay, it doesn't mean that Black people can't be anti any other group, but when we are applying the second definition, it means that we don't have the infrastructure or the political social or economic power, okay, to oppress any other group. Therefore, black people cannot be racist by that definition. Black people can only be a prejudice. White people, however, can be both of those definitions. Not only can they possess a superiority attitude toward any other group, but they also, collectively speaking, have the socio-economic and political power and infrastructure to actually oppress any other group, which is why we have systematic oppression and all these disparities, okay, within minority communities. And those communities have those disparities because white people, racist ass white people, don't give a fuck, because racist ass white people, elitist ass white people, demonic Luciferian ass child eating white people, okay, don't give a fuck about those groups because those groups aren't them. Okay, so those groups utterly get left behind, the forsaken groups. So no, black people can't be racist in that sense. But I'm gonna tell you why I won't be able to forgive, or why I will have a eternal side eye on any. Let me put my picture back up. Let me share my motherfucking screen, honey. Let me share my fucking screen. Let me take this down. Pow, bitch. Okay, let me share it. Dancing in the moonlight. Oh, baby, baby. Let me put my other picture back up. Boom. Okay. Okay, so these white people, right? Like, so as a mystic, okay, who believes in the transformative power of knowledge, who believes in the transformative power of spirit, I completely understand and accept and have bear witness to powerful individual transformations, irregardless of what a person's past has been. I have seen people who have served decades in prison for murder, for for crimes committed, sometimes heinous crimes, who have transformed their lives, who have become ministers of the gospel of love themselves as a result of the contrast of who they used to be. Okay, as a person who has grown up in a in a Christian country, in a Christian community, in a Christian family, obviously all of the saints in my family have a sinner's past. My stepfather recently was buck, he was buck wild his whole life. He was buck wild while he was married to my mother. He cheated, he did drugs, he was an alcoholic, he was a male, he was a whore, he was all those things. And just shy of a decade ago, he gave his life to God and has been a practicing Jehovah's Witness since. And there's no residue of the man that once was. Okay, most pastors and lots of leaders historically have been people who have came from very contrasting past. That past is kind of what aided and abetted this new self. Powerful awakenings happen, even for those who have fucked up past. That obviously becomes the testimony and the saving grace of a person's life, having to operate that profoundly in the lower self in order to even transcend to the higher self, literally starting from the bottom of self in terms of quality of consciousness and climbing that conscious scale. So I completely understand and accept that anybody can transform, whether it be the head Ku Klux Klanman in charge. He could have even lynched niggas, okay? And can still evolve powerfully, okay? So I accept that transformity can happen no matter the context, no matter the person, no matter the past, no matter how deeply they were involved in whatever, that any person can change their lives and can change their nature or swap fucking natures. However, The reason why, despite me understanding that, they're witnessing that, and knowing that to be fact and truth, and that that is a possibility, in this particular system, I will always side eye eternally white people, even good white people, even white people who are out in the streets, Black Lives Matter, etc. Maybe they was in the dark, now in the light. It's because as long as like the racist system exists itself, I just won't be able to trust white allyship, but so much. That trust won't be able to truly be built until the actual system doesn't exist at all. And then you can see what that whiteness looks like. Because in this current system, that means that even good-hearted white people still benefit from racism. It means that even reformed white racists still benefit from racism because the system still exists. So even though good white people are making a moral appeal, okay, to the white racist system that stands, they're making that moral appeal to a system that doesn't have a moral conscience currently. Racism doesn't have a moral conscience. Homophobia doesn't have a moral conscience. It just doesn't. So while I can accept that now you've awakened and you're on the right side of things, you're on the human side of things, you're on the virtuous, loving side of things, as long as that system, though, that your forefathers created, that your forefathers wrapped up into the Constitution, etc., like that system that your forefathers have created in the form of policy, legislation, social hierarchy, like I'm gonna have to always side eye you. I really won't know what you truly look like until that system really doesn't exist. Because it's very easy to be the reformed racist when the system of racism you still benefit from. Which really means that you can have the best of both worlds. You can be out here on your Black Lives Matter shit as a reformed racist and be pulling from the adoration and the love of the Black community who's willing to accept you as an ally, and you can benefit from the role of being an anti-racist, but also you totally get to go under the radar and also totally benefit from that system that was created for your evolution and that was created for your head start in this world. And you get to almost exist within both of those places simultaneously and seamlessly. Seamlessly. Very seamlessly. So, yeah, I see you and I hear you and I respect you, and I think that the work that you're doing is fucking dope for you to be aiding uh Black minorities in dismantling the system, because obviously like we won't be able to dismantle it alone. We need people on the inside to tear down the inside and to inform us about the inside and to help us scoop up into the inside and to help us, my favorite word again, y'all, breach the inside, okay? Yeah, we're going to have to do this together. And we're going to be doing that with the good, loving, virtuous, harmonious whites of the world and the good, harmonious whites of America. But I just have to be honest. I'm going to do that and still side eye your ass. I'm not going to feel ever completely and utterly safe with proximity to you until the system is gone. And there's nothing for you to manipulate, and there's nothing there that can manipulate me. Yeah, that system would just have to come all the way down. So if there are white allies out here who are still wondering why are black people still keeping a foot on their necks, and they are Black Lives Mattering, and they're hashtagging Breonna Taylor, and they're at the rallies, protesting on behalf of George Floyd, like why there's still kind of a tension or a hardness or an attitude. That attitude is simply, hey, I appreciate you, but bitch, I got my eye on you. Just interpret the energy that way. You still fine, you know. We're not crazy like your counterparts, we ain't busting up in the Capitol, so you ain't got nothing to worry about. You're safe physically, you're safe spiritually with us. But if you feel that tension is, bitch, I got my eye on you. And rationally, logically, I should. Because the system that still informs you about your significance and your importance, and that gives you the opportunity to self actualize at 100% in this country still exists. Still exists. That still exists. And I'm concerned even about your ability to stay woke, because that system still exists, because that system, for white people, for good white people, for white people who are trying to stay awake in this era, that system for good whites is a lot like the apple that God told Eve not to bite, that told Adam and Eve not to bite. So I'm concerned because I don't know how disciplined and how much self-control and how much you're going to self-will through every day to do the right thing versus falling asleep, which is so easy to do because this system is just so built for your comfortability. It's so built for your safety. It's so built for your future. And my God, what a predicament to be in. Yes, chunky dunking, intoxicating. What a predicament to be in, to just know that there's an option available to me in life that, like, that I just have the option to just do me. That I can put my care for other humans down completely and just step into this dimension over here and go and be completely deaf tone to the world. And I can just go be all that I can be. That I actually don't have to care about these folk over here. I don't have to care about them. I don't have to care about what's happening to them, because where they're trying to go, I already am. Even if as a poor white American, I might not be there physically, but that system allows for my posture to default there. And what I mean by that is that even if I'm a poor, struggling white who's on welfare and don't have shit to my name, racism has this world set up in a way that basically all I gotta do is really get my shit together, and I'm gonna climb the social ladder. All I gotta do is just want to get my shit together. That's all I gotta do. Like, all poor white people actually have to do is pull themselves up by their bootstrap. Like, that's all you actually have to do. All you have to do is just, want to do fucking better, and then just go. Go for the apple. The apple already exists for you. There you go. See, for blacks, even when we're ready, and we desire to move full steam ahead. That system already has 1 kabillion speed bumps put into place, and we would literally be here all night if I literally put a name to all of those fucking speed bumps. Not to mention that the Apple is not even equally accessible to me because of all the speed bumps put ahead. And not to mention that I'm only allowed to bite that apple and self-actualize for myself. But I'm not allowed to bring a generation with me as a result of finally getting to the apple. Because white, because racism stumps on Black generational wealth. You know, we talked in the last video about Black Wall Street, Black businesses, and the era of Reconstruction where Black people were thriving, and how white supremacy smashed Black people's efforts. Because that's what it looks like when one nigga try to bring all his niggas to the Capitol. That's what it looks like when one nigga try to bring all his niggas to the Lucky Charm pot. That's what it looks like when one nigga tried to bring and think about more than just himself. And then it's so funny as I'm saying this, I'm now thinking about, it's so funny how we get upset when like one crab makes it out of the goddamn barrel and don't come back for nobody, but it's not even really like they can. Once you even get up there as a minority person, so much fucking assimilating and sunken place dynamics happen, honey, that you kind of forget that you're Black all the fucking together. All together. So they're still putting up no bootstraps for the niggas. The niggas we're gonna have to destroy the goddamn system. But for a poor whites, yeah, you're still allowed, even though you have privilege and the system is created for you, you're allowed to choose poverty. Some of us are defaulted there because of racism as a systemic issue and a systemic reality. White people get to choose the circumstances that they find themselves under, and I'm not saying that literally across the board. I'm literally just talking about in terms of the quality of your life economically, socially, and politically. Black people are largely defaulted to the disadvantaged state. So that's why I will always be side-eyeing white allyship. But do I accept white allies? Yes. And do I believe in white allies? Yes. But I will side-eye you because the system still stands, which means that it's very easy for you to look like a hero even if you're not. Because you get to fight for us and stand on the opposite side, but you're still white. In a superior white nation, and you have access to all those advantages and power. So I really don't know who you are or what you are. We've had pandering whites before. We've had white people. We have white people now who are Black Lives Mattering because it's trendy and it's edgy. And it's just a way for them to feel really cool and unique and against the grain. Because as long as that system exists, even if, unfortunately, because that system exists, it's just, I'm not even going to try to jazz it up. I stick by what I'm saying. As long as that system exists. Good night, classy. As long as the system exists, honey. I'm just going to side eye. I just have to. I just have to side eye. And I also empathize with anybody who has to wake up. Because we all have to wake up. Like, we all are going to have to wake up in our own ways, wherever our privileges and ignorances are. Like, that's a feat that is universal to all human beings. But it must be something to be right in the system, because you have the choice to not care, and it really doesn't benefit you to care. And waking up and choosing not to be tired of the bullshit and the judgment and the critiques and the criticisms from both sides, I'm sure can be very taxing and exhausting. And to be challenged with just having the option to just not care and to just go thrive is bonkers. I mean, that it's literally just bonkers. And because I'm not white, I can't even imagine like what that really feels like. But it just feels like, I mean, God, what an incredible option. What an incredible fucking option. Which is why I do take my hat off to those white allies who are truly genuine. And they've truly dedicated their lives to creating a space for everybody else in the system, and who sacrificed their lottery ticket to do the right thing. I take my hat off to those white folks who haven't sold their soul, who give up their privilege daily, who give up their comfortability daily, who've been ostracized from their friends, from their families, for being a nigger lover, for putting their lives and their bodies on the line as well. Because we know that when the tanks and the cars come flying through Black Lives Matter protesters, okay, the racist motherfucker in the vehicle sees both whites and blacks and sees them as one. So the cross ends up for everybody on the right side of the argument. And I'm going to be praying for y'all strength. Because if you're getting your ass kicked as a white ally, then just imagine like what the ass of those who you're fighting for feel like. Imagine what our asses feel like as the actual oppressed group. Like, if you're getting exhausted and you feel toe up and your life looks crazy as hell because you are doing the woke thing in a very sleep system, then yeah, imagine those who don't even have the choice of being woke. Like, they're forced by default to be woke. Like, as a black person, I don't have a choice but to experience racism. You as a white ally get to choose to bear witness to racism. You get to choose, okay, because it's your folk that are doing the oppressing. You don't have to be on the bitter end of that stick as the one with the privilege. And sometimes I just think, because I'm a person who puts myself in everybody's shoes. Like, when I think about the way that these systems are set up, which is why a lot of times I end up empathizing with the homophobes. I end up empathizing with the transphobes. Like, I critique them. I get in their ass. I put my foot down their throat. The sexist, the misogynist, like all of that shit, the xenophobes. I do all that. But at the same time, because I'm empathic And I understand that even our villains are victims, and that even our villains are socially engineered to be the way they are. They've been raised by other privileged folk, or they've been raised by other sleep folk. They've been conditioned to see you, to see your people, to see the world the way that it is. Like, I understand that. None of us are born inherently evil. I mean, aside from maniacs. There are some vessels literally made for evil. But most of these people have been programmed to be that way. And that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. So I get it. There is a place for forgiveness. Um, there's always a place for forgiveness. There's always a place for forgiveness when we have to be realistic about when we have to deal with reality that we're not like any other species. Like when baby crocodiles and alligators are born, they know instinctually to run off to the ocean. They know instinctively to run off into the Nile. Human beings, we can't thrive without the assistance of other human beings. If Brenda went and put her baby within a garbage can right now, that baby would die. That baby doesn't have a instinctual nature that puts it into self-auto or does any self-correcting. That child would just wither away. So our minds and our perception of reality is in the hands of other human beings from the time we come into this world. Somebody else is in charge of the way that we think. Some system, some institution, some family, some society is informing us about the way we should see the world from the time we come into the world. And there are some people who miraculously wake up and is resistant and practice a individuality in such a way that they never accept what society tried to give them or what religion tried to give them or whatever tried to give them. But those people make up the minority. I was different too as a young person. Even though I am able to even though I am not one of those people who ever accepted what was given to me, I always challenged everything. I always questioned everything. I always marched to the beat of my own drum. I also was able to see in my own life that that's also what made me unique. And unique is just another term for minority. Because who I was always amongst was the collective. And the collective, for the most part, was pretty fucking uniform. They were going with the system. So, like, the people who were always different were never the majority. They were always the minority class. Always the minority class. But most people are conditioned and programmed and carry out their brainwashing. Most people are carrying out. They're carrying out what they've been taught. And that's how you also get into what the church calls generational curses, which is the blind leading the blind. That's how you get into that generational bullshit. It's just people being puppets and carrying out the system. So I kind of forgot why the fuck I said that, which means it's probably time to end this goddamn stream. But what I will say is, most people just have to challenge themselves. Challenge ourselves. We all have privileges in various ways. Even though I'm a black minority, I have privileges as a man. I have male privilege. In certain spaces, shit, I have gay fucking privilege. I mean, we all have privileges, but when we really talk about the privileges that um, are truly detrimental to people's well-being and quality of life and existence, racism and patriarchy are the most polarizing of those privileges because they're the most prevalent. That's who hold the power are men. Those men would be white men. Okay? And that's where you get racist patriarchy that has created the foundation for why America looks the way that it fucking does. Real awakening will not only elevate the mind, but will have you wondering, who am I? Like, really? Yeah, it will. One of a great mystic once said that the more I know, the more I realize I don't know. Real awakening leaves you eternally suspended. It's a never ending shedding of layer and introduction to knowledge and truth. And its nature is literally eternal. It's a eternal unfolding, unfolding, unfolding. As you know, you become. But because becoming is eternally, there's always something to know and always more to become. Because there's nothing but eternal unfolding. By and by and by and by. So that was my question. I just had that on my mind. I just wanted to kind of come and just like maybe lubricate this conversation, because maybe I'll put together a panel and we'll talk about this as a group. I was going to open up the stream tonight, but because, like I said, I can't depend upon my Wi-Fi, I really didn't want to, I didn't want to risk it, and have my stream like blanking out. But if it continues to act stable over the next week, the next few days, then certainly, we will have this conversation, okay? But yeah, with us coming into this administration with a president that's definitely been problematic and said some problematic things in his day. It's going to be interesting wrestling with this idea of being comfortable with white people who claim to be mature and claim to love everyone and claim to love black minorities and who want to appeal to black forgiveness, etc. And if we will give them that, or how we should exist within proximity to those whites who were once a part of the big problem. I think if Joe First, but I ain't even gonna say that, because I would just be playing into the fairy tale that any of these fucking people can operate off script. I ain't even going to say it. I mean, of course, there's no way for Joe to literally be genuine. I mean, Joe has a script. Him and Kamala will be ushering in the next chapter of the New World Order. Trump played his position. Obama played his position. Bush played his position. Clinton's played their position. Every administration is going to come in and execute on their communist, socialist agenda. I think there's a book called The Communist Manifesto that I've been hearing a lot about. I've read some excerpts out of the book. It gives you a whole fucking breakdown on how they are restructuring society right before our eyes. And it makes so much fucking sense in terms of the policies and the laws and the legislations that are being moved into place. I mean, it's actually pretty terrifying how this book is fully manifesting itself. It's almost like reading a prophetic manual. And maybe what's spooky about it is the fact that it literally is the blueprint for the fucking wicked dictators of this world. Like, this book is what they're using as a blueprint. It's what they're using as a database in order to manipulate society and to put society within a state of fucking psychosis, just to re-engineer the whole fucking humanity. It's nuts out here. But nonetheless, white allies, thank you. Fake white allies, fuck you. Black folk, keep your foot on everybody's necks. Trust nobody. Those who are true will prove it by fruit, not by proclamation, okay? Not by a Twitter post, okay? But we'll be putting their lives on the line for the right thing. And at the end of the day, all of us in our God-given capacities need to want to do and desire to do and pray to God for a heart that desires to do the right thing, whatever that is for each of us individually, to such an extent that it will make you put your life out, that it will make you put your life on the line. That's what really doing the right thing has to come down to for all of us. And if you don't have that level of passion and conviction, then that's what you work out spiritually. That's what you seek God for. God, give me a heart that will make me put everything that I am on the line for righteousness. Yes, we love our white allies. Much respect to them. To the freedom fighters who were stoned, who were killed, who were set ablaze along with niggas. For the white people that have gone to the fucking Christ, who have gone to the cross with niggas. You know, we can't deny that there have been white people who have literally stood on principle and they lost their life as a result of that. And God bless anybody who is that for real. That for real. And I think that's something for us all to strive for. All of our Black ancestors, okay, who put their lives out on the line for us to be able to sit here in somewhat of a non-segregated world. We need to keep that same energy, that same fight, that same resilience, that same relentlessness when it comes to our vision of the world, when it comes to our love for our own people, our love for our society. Yeah. Is this Trump supporting stream? No, this is not Pink Queen R&B BL. This is not a Trump supporting. I don't even know like what that even really means. Trump is all politicians as far as I'm concerned. To the last breath, freedom for all under God. And on that note, we're done here tonight. Okay. Check out the Gentleman's Panel tomorrow, you guys. We'll be having some interesting dialogue. Food for thought here. Think about this. We're going to come back and have this conversation in a bigger capacity. Okay? Just be real. They want freedom now because theirs is threatened. Well, yeah. But, talking about white people, I mean, we talk a lot. Well, I talk a lot of shit, okay? But white people are not a minority. I mean, not a minority. White people are not a monolith. There's just as many diverse life paths that are being chosen within the white race as there are within the black race. So you have white people who've always been on the right side of life. They've always been on like on their love shit. They've always used, like what they had to make life a better place for everybody else. And now you also have those white people, right, who are just running amok and they're upset and they are trying to destroy the system because obviously there's a personal interest. There's something to personally gain, and now it's personal for them. So even though they might be in the crowd with us, they're not for us, right? They're for themselves because now, okay, that same system has become a threat or infringed, okay, upon some aspect of their own perceived sense of power, a comfortability within this country, okay? But that doesn't mean that because they're with us, they are for us. So you also have those selfish individuals, okay, who are within the group but operating still from a solo context. So, and that's why I say keeping our motherfucking eye out on the eternal side eye. Just stay woke. Stay woke. Keep your third eye open. Keep your motherfucking discernment. Be very goddamn observant, honey. And just watch. Just watch and watch carefully. But good night to you all. Happy motherfucking hump day. Thank you all for. Let me check these cash apps real quick. Let me see who the fuck blessed the bitch tonight. I got so many goddamn notifications, honey. Oh, Corey G, text me. What's going on, Corey? Thank you, Nick. Nicole, Nicole always coming through and blessing the kid, babe. I'm gonna have to marry your ass, okay? I think that's what you're trying to do. I think you're trying to get me to be your husband, okay? And the way you loving on me, honey, there might be a conversation to be had later on in the future. I am asking God for that pansexuality. I am seeking them for it. Look, that's another conversation for another day. But I love you guys. Thank you so much, Nicole. Bless you, bless you, bless you, honey. Like, truly bless you and truly thank you for all of your support. Like, I love you down to the ground. Lover down to the ground. And thank you all, who support the platform. Thank you all who are hanging in there. We're going through some interesting times, honey. I already told you guys 2021 on this platform. We're just going to be exploring all trains of thought. We're going to be dealing with all types of interesting issues and topics on this platform. Ultimately, I want this platform to be something for everybody, and I want everybody to be able to have a say-so, everybody to have a presence. I want all perspectives to be told on this platform. At this point, I just want my platform to just be... I want it to be a space where all the information can be, where all sides of the argument can be found, honey. And so you guys are going to be seeing some interesting folk up on this motherfucker. And, I personally am not pro-vaccine, but once again, we're going to have those female epidemiologists on this platform, okay, to talk about their pro-attitude for the vaccination. And I don't mind that, like I'm just here to, once again, tell the whole truth, okay, not part of it. And I would suggest that you guys side eye people who are always interested in only pushing one thing biasly, but don't ever explore any other options, because there are a lot of people on this platform who are talking, vaccinations, and they're only telling y'all the good side. And even though the negative side is being reported in some capacity, they never ever yield to that. They never ever highlight it. They never ever emphasize it. And I super dare you to side eye those people, because what we don't need is people with personal objectives and agendas. Like, what we need is real, just full out truth tellers, and not being afraid to explore the alternative side, not being afraid to say, hey, this is the pros, and bitch, here certainly is the goddamn cons. I'm not interested in biased perspective. I don't mind I don't mind people having their own opinion, obviously, because we're all going to have our own respected positions and attitudes about whatever, right? But when it comes to just having a platform, like, and talking about things that impact all of us, you can still have your own personal perspective and also still be fair. Still be fair. And I don't want to just hear about, oh, the vaccination, and I took the fucking vaccination, and my nose is still functioning, and my asshole still blowing air out of it, and my heart still beats at a 0.2 rate, and wonderful. Now I want to also hear about the bitches who dropping dead. I want to hear about the bitches whose skin's falling off. I want to hear about the motherfuckers who got spotted feet and spotted legs and spotted necks and spotted their eyeballs and then stroked out motherfucking 2 hours later after taking the vaccinations. I want to hear about the bitches who hit the floor 15 minutes after the vaccination and was never heard of, never seen from again, bitch. I want to hear it all. I want to hear it all, god damn it. Tell it all if you gonna tell it. Say it all if you gonna say it. Bring it all if you gonna bring it. I wanna hear all of it. If you ain't telling me all of it, bitch, I ain't listening. And that's why I don't watch nobody on YouTube, bitch. What I do is watch my own studies. Okay, I be in my own studies, informing myself, and then deciding how I want to bring things to my platform. Because at this point, to be honest, y'all, I don't trust nobody. I trust my own instincts. I trust my own intuition. I do my own motherfucking research, and I don't put that much of my reality or my mind in the hands of one single soul individual about nothing, because I know how biased human beings can be. I go do for me myself. Okay? And all 2021, we're going to talk both sides of everything. And if we got to debate it down sometimes, because it needs to come down to a either or, perfectly fine. But for the most part, I'm just not trying to speak from just one angle of a thing, unless unless the empirical data, it's just that motherfucking clip across the board, girl. That is just, it's just like, come on. There's one attitude to have here. But for the most part, there's value in all things. That's also why I wanted to have Corey in on the Capitol Hill conversation. A lot of people felt like Corey was, he was too nice of a white boy. Like, we needed a white boy who was a little bit more racist, a little bit more, on the other side. And I was like, no, because a part of why I wanted him there was, to say all white people don't feel the way that we see a lot of white people behaving, and that there are good, warm-hearted, honest working, intelligent, community building, white folk that exists. All men aren't evil, all women aren't evil. It's just like, if we go, it's just once again about being balanced. If we're going to highlight all the negative folk in one group, then we also need to highlight the positive people in that group too. I'm not going to just talk about homophobes like fucking Young Pharaoh and all of them stupid ass motherfuckers. Not stupid ass, stupid, but stupid. But we gonna. That's why I have like Balarin on the platform. That's why I have my homeboy Spirit, the tattoo artist, on the platform. That's why I have my friend Christian, on the platform. All cis hetero men to show that all black men are not homophobic. All black men aren't afraid of gays. All black men, are not controlled by societal fucking norms and shit. So, just that type of representation is really important. And telling, once again, like the whole truth is important. Yes, there are racist, stupid, crazy, wicked motherfuckers in the world. There's also non-wicked, loving people in the world. Not all black men are fucking homophobes and transphobes. Not all black women are mad. I got a great video coming up called The Mad Black Bitch. Baby, y'all better sound off on that video. Black women, I think I'm gonna make you proud. I think I'm gonna make you proud. But the title always got to be like polarized. That's how social media works. Anywho, I gotta go. What's going on, Jace? You just coming in, baby. We heading the fuck out. I love you all. I will talk to you guys soon. I'm about to go to bed. Okay. No, I'm not. I'm about to watch some more of The Grapevine, which I'm watching right now, like one of the old ass episodes. If you guys haven't checked out The Grapevine, check it out. But I love you all. Have a good night. And we will reconvene this conversation. Okay. Bye.